Welcome to today's training session. My name is Shaine and I'm Head of Sales here at Sopro. The idea of today's session is there will be some negotiation tips and takeaways that you can implement straight away into your business. We will talk about the 5 stages of negotiation and also what I believe are the key skills of a successful negotiator. The idea being that by the end, you will have everything you need to help you or your team negotiate like pros in 2024. So let's start talking about the types of negotiators that there are. The first being the churn and burn. These are the sales agents that want a quick close, prioritizing short-term gains over long-term relationships. So they sell on price, not benefits, and they probably go straight to the lowest price. Then there are what I call the in it to win it's. The whole process is all about their goals, no probing questions to tailor the process or the offering. Then finally, the ones I like to call lasting value negotiators. They listen carefully, show natural curiosity right from the start, and they build value, not just on price. I'm pretty sure you can already all agree which will be the most effective and drive the best results. And that is what we're going to spend the next 25 minutes talking about today, how to become a lasting value negotiator. But before I do, a question I like to ask any new member to my team: when does negotiation start? Well, actually, it's a trick question. Negotiation for me is not actually an event. In fact, if you tackle it like an event, as something that happens later in the sales process, it's way too late. The best negotiators know that it starts even before the first meeting, right at the first point of contact, and all the way through the sales process to the close. Now, you will have heard of ABC, always be closing. Well, consider this, always be negotiating. For that reason, here at Sopro, we've changed negotiate to communicate, as the best negotiators in our experience are the best communicators. So let's now delve into that deeper with what I call the 5 stages of lasting value communication. So stage 1 is preparation. And for me, this is by far the most important part of negotiation. It's about thoroughly researching the prospect's business, industry trends, and competitive landscape. Key is about being perceived as a thought leader from the first call. In turn, this builds trust with the stakeholders, and trust is important in negotiation. In fact, in a recent survey by Ipsos and LinkedIn of senior decision makers, one of the top reasons they would buy a product or service from a new supplier would be because of a salesperson's knowledge of their industry, where they came across as a thought leader. Some tips on preparation. Tip 1. The good news is you don't need to be an expert to be a thought leader. Key is about setting aside time to do your research before your meeting. And there are also lots of tools available to help you with LinkedIn, company websites, industry insights, and lots of AI tools, including ChatGPT. Tip number 2. If this prospect that you're just about to meet could be a big win for you, create an action plan. Set meeting objectives as part of your preparation. Write down your goals, whether it's understanding the prospect's needs and pain points, presenting your solution, or building rapport. Bullet point the whole conversation. Anticipate the questions and objections that, in your experience of this sector, may arise during the discussion. And tip number 3, run through your plan, the objections and answers with a colleague before the meeting. Share best practices and experiences between yourselves, or even role play it. So that's preparation. On to stage 2, listening. You've probably heard the saying you have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and only 1 mouth. Well, in negotiation, we sometimes call it the 80-20 rule. Listen 80% of the time, only talk 20% of the time. Good negotiators, commercial, diplomatic, or even hostage, lead by listening, not by talking. So how will active listening help? Well, for starters, it will help you understand their needs and gain a deeper understanding of their priorities and concerns. Listening also helps you to show empathy, that you really value any concerns or nerves they may have. And in the current climate, where concerns and nerves play a large part in lost deals and in deal ghosting, empathy really is a very powerful tool that plays a big part in winning business in 2024. It will help you build rapport and trust, and in turn, show respect and genuine interest in their business. It helps identify opportunities, potential areas of agreement, common ground, and creative solutions that might not be immediately obvious. It also plays a large part in overcoming objections. Key is always about identifying and addressing objections or concerns as early as possible in the process, better than at the point of asking for the order. And finally, thinking time to help tailor your approach. As you listen, you can adapt your strategy in real time based on the information that you're receiving. So before you start your discovery stage, remember, when you ask a question, follow with silence and listen. It's a tough skill to master, but the longer the silence, the more powerful it is. Next stage is stage 3, and that's the discovery. Every company's sales process will have a set of questions that must and should be asked, with the aim of finding their need or pain point. And whilst very important, they should always be the starting point, as for me, what the most successful sellers use during discovery is curiosity. The ability to naturally delve deeper, probe further, and not accept the first answer as the right answer. Sometimes the prospect doesn't even know the answer themselves until your curiosity challenges and makes them think. Those will be your top negotiators, and those will be your top salespeople. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how good your product or service is, if they don't have a need or you don't uncover it, then they won't buy it. So, here are some killer questions to sprinkle into your discovery. They're designed to extract detailed information about the prospect's current situation, so their challenges and goals, but also as important to get them thinking and talking about their future state. What does success look like? And areas where your solution could add value. Prime for when negotiation is on the table. Key is not to ask all these questions all at once, or it will feel like an interrogation. So weave them into your current probing and consultative questions. What are the biggest challenges your business is currently facing? And what specifically within your role? Maybe they're different. What does success look like over the next 12 months? What tools or systems are you currently using to manage this process? Is there anything specific about your current process or solution that isn't working? And ideally, how would you like to see that improve or streamlined? What specific outcomes are you hoping to achieve with a new solution? How do you measure success for your department or your company? And what does success look like for you? What features or capabilities are most important to you in a solution? And are there any issues you're aware of that are preventing you from reaching your business goals? And always the final question, it's a tough but powerful one. Ask them, what happens if you don't find a solution to the challenge or goal? So a reminder, they are all designed to extract detailed information about the prospect's current situation, their challenges and concerns, but also as important to get them thinking and talking about their future state. What could success look like and how does that feel? You will need to pull on these answers later in the sales process. Stage 4, presenting the solution. After your killer questions and active listening, ideally you should be able to tailor your presentation and customize your presentation or pitch to address the specific needs and pain points identified during the discussion. Emphasize the benefits and value proposition of your solution. Illustrate how it addresses the prospect's unique challenges. And it's important also to provide social proof. So share success stories, testimonials or case studies that demonstrate the effectiveness of your solution in similar situations. Make sure to manage expectations. So set realistic expectations about what your solution can deliver, avoiding overpromising or exaggerating its capabilities, and demonstrate ROI where possible. The importance to clearly illustrate the return on investment the prospect can expect is important in negotiation. And transparency. Be transparent about everything you're offering, pricing, terms, fostering an environment of trust and honesty. Earlier, I mentioned a survey conducted by Ipsos and LinkedIn about what buyers look for when considering a new purchase. Well, what came a close second to thought leadership was transparency. Stage 5 is the close, asking for the order. For most of you watching this, you will have at least a 2 or 3 call process before a business signs an agreement. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't trial close early on, in the first discovery meeting. The best negotiators and communicators do. And of course, when the time is right, don't forget to ask for the order. So, before any trial close, you should summarize your meeting and gain agreement. Recap all of those key points back to them in their own terminology. It's important just to make sure you haven't made any assumptions, and it also gives the prospect time to add anything key that might not have been discussed up until that point. Then, pick your trial close. A trial close tests the prospect's readiness to close ahead of the next steps and potential follow-up meetings. So the first question could be, based on what we've discussed today, how do you feel about moving forward? Based on what we discussed today, can you see this fitting within your business? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? If they're further than a 7, you're pretty close to a sale. You could even ask the question, what will it take to get you to a 10? And finally, if we can help with, will you? This is really good for bespoking your offer. So an example would be, if we can help you with this challenge, will you purchase this solution from us? And after all the hard work, when you're ready to close, don't forget to ask for the order. Here are my 2 favorites. The first one is the consultative close. I recommend you take this option because it will help with this challenge. Or there's the assumptive close. This involves presenting the order in a way that assumes they're ready to proceed. For instance, shall I go ahead and prepare the paperwork? Some tips to help with closing. As I mentioned earlier, use silence. After making an offer, don't rush to fill the silence. Give the other party time to process and respond. It can be nerve-wracking, and the longer you hold silent, the better. Give it a go. And in negotiations specifically, be willing to walk away. Understand your limits and be prepared to walk away from a deal if it doesn't meet your minimum requirements or if it's not in your company's best interest. You can't win every pitch. Another tip, there are more decision makers than ever before as part of the sign-off process, an average of 3 to 4 now. So when speaking to your influencer or one of the decision makers, ask them, if it was your sole decision, what would it be? Then key is to follow that up with a proposal and with a personalized video attached, explaining your understanding of their challenges and how your service or product will help. Perfect to share with all those stakeholders not on the call. It helps control the narrative, show your understanding of their business, and provides evidence of your solution, so they don't just go straight to the price. This has been a game changer for us. It helps you stand out from the competition, and we get so many compliments from other companies saying exactly that. Some even ask us to train them on how to implement it into their own sales process. So finally, let's review what we've talked about today. Preparation. Knowledge is your strongest ally in negotiations. Active listening. Understanding not only the words being spoken, but also the underlying motivations, concerns, and emotions. This skill helps you uncover valuable information and tailor your approach. Empathy. This enables you to build rapport, manage conflicts, and navigate challenging situations with sensitivity. Empathy helps negotiators develop a deeper understanding of the other party's perspective, facilitating effective communication and solutions. Problem solving and creativity. You need to be adept at identifying creative solutions to complex problems. You should be able to think outside the box and propose alternatives that satisfies both parties' interests. Creative problem solving requires a blend of analytical thinking, empathy, and an openness to exploring new approaches. And finally, closing. Review the solution, tailor to their needs, asking for the order, and then silence. Consider this session closed. Thank you.